So hello and welcome back guys. So guys, in today's video I will teach you some more basics and small stuff about JavaScript. Well, I'm thinking about making a video on Discord.js, but trust me, I feel too stupid while doing that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to avoid Discord.js for now. So let's start with our encode URI function. Well, it is quite a useful function, so I wanted to mention about this. So what if you have something like this? You have some URL to some route, and probably you have some queries like hello, well, something. You do have something. Then, if we just encode this thing, we will get a better version of it. Like it in if well, for example, it replaces the spaces with %20. The %20 thing refers to your obviously refers to the damn space. It is the hexadecimal form of our space, so it is just gonna fix your URL so that it can work. That's all about encode URI thing. It is quite useful, but you might not need it. And then comes this escape function. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the use, but I know what it do. And probably it is useless for you too. But I'm just doing this because I found it interesting. Alright. So this function is pretty simple. It is just gonna replace few characters of a string to their hexadecimal form. But what? It didn't did anything because it is not going to do that normally. It is not going to do that randomly. Whereas it will just do that thing for some for some specific stuff. Like if I log this now, where is it? All right, bam, you can see quite a lot of stuff is changed now. So it just converted the comma, the space, the end, and probably the space once more, then the at the rate. Sorry, it didn't change the at the rate, and the everything else is similar except for this equal to. So you can see it is just going to convert few stuff to hexadecimal form, and it is totally possible this thing is used somewhere because it has some sort of use, but I don't know about that. But I wanted to tell you what it do, so let's go. Now comes the ternary function. Well, ternary operator to be precise. These things this thing is quite useful. It is really great. Let me just show you what it do. Well, for example, let us assume some use case, like probably my salary. It is zero to be honest, but let us assume it is 1000, and then we have to calculate the tax. We can simply do something like, well, wait a second, we can assume tax is as 0, and then we have some kind of checker, like if salary is greater than 2000, then just tax is equals to salary multiplied by 0.1, that means 10%. And we have another thing, otherwise that means if it is less than 2000, then tax is equals to salary into 0.05. But don't you think this is quite a lot of stuff and it is quite stupid? Then why do that? You can simply do this. We just have our text is equals to, then first of all we will type salary, and we will check for a condition. Salary is greater than 2000. Then we will add a question mark. This means we are checking about this condition. So first of all, if the condition is true, then we are just gonna do salary multiplied by 0.1. That means if the condition is true, do this thing, and the text value will be equal to this stuff. And then we have this colon. This means otherwise or probably else. Else the text is equals to salary multiplied by 0.05. So that's how you converted your damn thing to a single one line thing. But what if you want to make multiple stuff? Like, let me show you. If salary is greater than 10,000, then tax will be equal to this. Otherwise, we will check for another thing. Otherwise, we will check if salary is greater than 2000, then the salary will be equal to this. Otherwise, salary will be equal to 0. Probably 25. Well, let's make it 0.1 to make it a bit more easy. So now let me tell you what we are doing. First of all, we are checking whether salary is more than 10,000. If it is, then just add 10% tax. Otherwise, we are checking if the salary is more than 2000, then just add 5% tax. And if all these conditions are false, then just add 1% x. So this line is equivalent to something like, you remember all of that stuff, it is just equivalent to these three lines. So that's why I prefer to use ternary operator. They can be pretty complex to understand easily. I mean to understand, but they are pretty easy if you just try and if you just practice some stuff. And by the way, one suggestion: don't just copy or read the code or learn the thing. Try to implement your stuff. Try to do your own thing and stuff like that. All right. But anyways, now let's move on to the switch statement. Well, as you all know, we can use this if else thingy, but what if there are few conditions? So there are few conditions when you have to check for particular equalities, like if case is exactly equal to this thing, or probably if case is equals to 69, and lot more stuff. Then you can use if else too, but I personally think if you only want to check for equality of your variable of a single variable, then you can totally use switch. Otherwise, don't even think about using switch. Otherwise, it is kind of shitty. So I will just tell you how it works. So first of all, we are gonna type switch to start our switch statement. Then these parentheses, and then the first parameter or the only single parameter is the variable we are going to use. So here we are using this variable called a, and then inside our switch statement, and all right, this is our switch statement and this is its body. So inside our switch statement body, we have multiple cases. So for defining a case, we just type case and the condition. Like if a is equals to 68, then everything after here will work. And just note one thing: after after all of your stuff is done, you have to type break in order to end a case. Otherwise, a cool thing will happen. So let me just log it. Boom. So now you can see it logged e because the value is 69. But if the value was 70, it will still log e because these cases are merged. So everything, well, the same thing will happen for both of them. And I guess we can do this too. If I do this, then it will log just e for 70, whereas for 69 it will log both of these. Bam, it logged 69 in e. So that's how you can merge cases and stuff like that. But now comes another thing. What if all the conditions are false? Then nothing happens. Well, like, let me show you. If I make it 639, then nothing will happen. In order to do something in such condition, we add a default keyword colon, and we do stuff like that. Probably we can type something like this here, and now if I run the function, you can see it said you are cancelled because it is the default value. That means none of the cases were true. That's why this thing ran. So that's all about switch statement, most probably. And I guess let's move on to type conversion. Well, this thing might come handy to you all. Well, first of all, how do we convert a string to a number? Well, it is pretty simple. You just type parse int, it is a function, and then a parentheses and provide the string value. It will convert the number, I mean the string to number. And by the way, one more thing, the damn first word or the character should be a number. For example, right now we have 699xd, and if I log this, let me log all of this stuff. Log, what is it? A string but integer. So if I log it now, you will see it is equal to 699. Whereas if it was something like x699, it will be nan. And even if it was space 699, okay, space 699 works. So the thing is, the first ever real word or some character should be a number. Otherwise, the thing wouldn't be converted to what should I say, integer. And the same thing is with the float, and I guess that's how you convert string to numbers. And then comes, how will you convert a number to string? It is just your variable, and then you type this function dot to string, and bang, your number is an string now. And if you don't know what are integer and floats, integer are any number like this 699 without any decimal value, and the float is any number with some decimal values. For example, 22, I mean 23.20. All right, And now comes how to convert the types of object. And well, for example, this is our object. What if you want to show it to someone? But if you just normally send this object variable, then it will be something like object and colon object. But you want to make it readable to a human. Well, you can simply do json dot stringify and provide your object, and bang, your thing is it is the stringified version of your object, probably something like this one. And what if you have some stringified version of an object and you want to convert it to object? For example, right now we cannot access the variables of ob2 because it is a literal string. And here comes json.parse. You can just parse any stringified json. Yeah, if I type ob2, it will be converted to json. Pretty simple. So that's how you convert your object to string and string to object. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will meet you later in another video. And probably the next video will be on how to document your stuff with JavaScript, or I should say in JavaScript. But anyways, bye.